Welcome to Superintendent Update. I'm Maida Milligan, Executive Director of Communications and Public Relations. I have the pleasure today of sitting down with Garland ISD's Interim Superintendent, Dr. Deborah Cron. Welcome, Dr. Cron.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Milligan. I'm very happy to be here.
Maybe I should have said welcome back home. What's it like to come home again?
Oh, it's just been fabulous. It's so wonderful to reconnect with the outstanding educators that we have in this district and to see the progress that our students are making. We're really focused on student learning, and it's just an exciting time to be in the Garland ISD.
So tell us a little bit more about that. How do you plan to connect with staff and students in the upcoming weeks?
Well, I'm working to try to carve out time to visit 3 campuses per day. It will take me about 5 weeks to get that accomplished with our 72 campuses. But that's the only way I'm going to get out there, and that's where I really want to be. So I'm working hard to make that happen. I started out today at a campus. I was at Garland High School, and it was very exciting to see students and staff busy doing what they do.
What goals do you have in this time of transition while you lead the district?
I think the first goal is to get to know staff and also to get to know our curriculum, our procedures, issues that are facing the district. Of course, my relationship with the board, I'm learning those as individuals and then also as our team of 8, and that's exciting. I've been working with our executive council, which is the key leadership team at the central office level. But I also have to be sure that I forge relationships with the campus principals because they are at the campus where the rubber meets the road. And then, of course, seeing the classrooms and see teachers and staff doing what they do for our students, that will be the highlight of my year is being able to see them.
What would you want parents and the community to know about the state of the district coming in new?
Oh, I would say to parents and the community that we are all very fortunate to have the staff that we have here. It's a very dedicated, very family-focused group of people that care about kids, they care about the children and the young people. I'm seeing high expectations, and I'm seeing a more and more reliance on looking to see how well those students are doing in terms of learning, and really focusing on where we need to go with them. So you'll see, I think, look at our curriculum. We're taking a long look. We have a new director of curriculum, Dr. Jeffrey Miller, and he is going to help us in that regard to spot any areas that we need to beef up to help our students do better. So I would say for the parents and family members who live here, come to our campuses, see what we've got. It's really a great place for student learning.
Many in the district have asked about the bond and where we are with that, and I know you've been having meetings and looking at that information. It was one of the largest ever passed, the largest ever passed in the district. A lot of community support went towards building technology infrastructure, the iPads for our students at the high schools for one-to-one, and additional construction in multiple phases. Is there anything that you can tell us that you've learned about the progress with the bond?
Yes, there's actually quite a lot of information that I've learned. And first, what I would like to do is say thank you to our staff members and our community and our parents for passing that bond program back in 2014. It was very needed, and the district is being very responsible in expensing that money on the projects that were outlined. We've done a lot with safety, and that's one thing I was very interested in, and those projects are in process right now. So safety is a #1 concern, and of course that's the bond program addressed that. We also have the new CTC facility. It's the Gilbreth Reed CTC out on 190, and it is just going to be a gorgeous facility, but more important than that, it's going to provide some educational opportunities for our junior and senior students that will just be world class. I also want to mention, in addition, that auditorium that has been a concern by some, but our board will be meeting first part of February to really look at the bond program, see what we've expensed, what projects have been completed, and what projects we have left. They will also look at the monetary pluses and minuses to see what we have in terms of spending on the projects that are remaining. So I think the community and the board will understand at that stage how much money will be available for projects like the natatorium that are still yet to be built.
So what do you see overall for those folks that don't maybe have all the details of it? Overall, what's the benefit to students, to the community, to staff with the bond?
Well, the bond program is actually keeping our Garland ISD facilities up to date and safe. Of course, some of our facilities are in excess of 50 years old, and ADA compliant was not an issue back then. Well, it is today, and it should be today. So we're ensuring that all of our facilities are ADA compliant. We're also making sure that our students are safe and that we have vestibules where we can be sure that people come in and they have the right credentials in order to enter our schools. As we mentioned earlier, safety is our #1 concern. But in addition, you also have to look at band halls and other parts of the school to see what needs to be updated. We had issues with air conditioners and that kind of mechanical information. All of that has to be kept up to date for the safety, security, and comfort of staff and students. So this bond program is helping us in those areas as well.
One more question. What's ahead in terms of the search process and what happens with that, knowing that we don't get to keep you forever?
Well, that's very kind of you to say that, and it's also a very specific process. Generally, boards of trustees use outside specialists to help them through that process, and because of that, there will be some legal requirements that we must address in terms of getting that information out for interested firms to apply for. So I'll be working through the purchasing department, the board and I will, to ensure that we have the right paperwork, the legal paperwork. The process itself generally takes about 4 months from the time that the RFP is released until the superintendent is named. In Texas, we have an interesting thing, and that is that there's something called a lone finalist, because all the applicants remain confidential until that lone finalist is named. At that stage, everyone knows who the individual is. But the board and the person named have a 21-day window. Either one of those can back out with no questions asked, no money exchanged. So it's just a safety net for both the board and the superintendent candidate. So once that 21-day window ends, then the board will extend that contract and the district will have a brand new superintendent. I'm unclear as of yet exactly when we'll start that process. Our first responsibility as a team of 8 was really to focus on the bond program and to get everyone up to speed with the same information. So we'll be doing that the first part of February, as I mentioned earlier, and then I think the board will later that month or maybe the next month, of course it will depend on them, but we'll start that initial few steps to get the process for the search underway.
Well, Dr. Cron, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to sit down and visit with us today to share information about you and the bond and what's next for Garland ISD.
Thank you, Maida. It was a delight.
Thanks so much for tuning into this edition of Superintendent Update.